Hi, everybody. I am John Allen, class of 1989, and I am very proud to receive this Alumni Achievement Award. I am actually deeply grateful to Fort Hays State University, and that's for a couple of reasons. One is the quality of education I got there. I was sort of an accidental philosophy major at Fort Hays. I graduated from TMP, and I went to Fort Hays thinking I was going to do political science and then become a lawyer. I ended up taking a philosophy class from Dr. Stephen Trammell, mostly to kill off an elective requirement. But I was absolutely captivated by it. I mean, for one thing, all of a sudden, I knew names such as Heidegger and Wittgenstein. I mean, honestly, prior to that, I would have thought those were brands of beer. But now, over a beer at the Brass Rail, I could work them into conversation and feel smarter than everybody else. And I found that feeling way more intoxicating than the booze we were consuming. I mean, it was great. But the deeper thing is this: what Dr. Trammell, Dr. Paul Faber, others in the philosophy department, what they did really is teach me how to think systematically, thoroughly, patiently, rationally, fairly. If you can do those things, you're set up for pretty much anything life throws at you. And I suppose the proof of that is that I ended up in this bizarre niche occupation of moving to Rome and covering the Vatican for a living. I mean, think about it. To go from growing up in a trailer park on the high plains of Western Kansas to hanging out in the Apostolic Palace and hobnobbing with popes, just goes to show that if you get the right foundation, which I definitely did at Fort Hays, anything is possible. But really, even more than what it did for me, I am grateful to Fort Hays for what it did for my mom, Laura Eileen Allen, to whom I would like to dedicate this award. My mom got her nursing degree from Fort Hays in the 1960s. She was a protege of Mrs. Stroop. And then taught nursing at Fort Hays for virtually her entire career in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. And I am here to tell you, she loved everything about Fort Hays. She loved the students. She loved the campus. She loved Stroop Hall. I mean, she even loved faculty meetings. And if that isn't the proof of the last full measure of her devotion, I don't know what is. When I was a little kid, my mom would sometimes pick me up after school and take me back to Fort Hays because she had to finish up some work. She was a single parent. My dad died when I was very young. And back in those days, her office was in Sheridan Coliseum. They hadn't built Stroop Hall yet. And so her office was up at the top. And while she was finishing up, I would go down to the basketball court and shoot hoops. And as a little kid, I always thought I had the better end of the deal, right? I mean, I couldn't imagine that grading papers or making lesson plans or, whatever she was doing up there would be more fun than playing ball. But now, looking back, I realize I had it completely wrong. I was just killing time. My mom was having a blast. She was living her dream. And I have to say that for every bit as much as she loved Fort Hays took great care of her. They took great care of her during her life, and they took great care of me and our whole family when my mom died. And so on behalf of the entire Allen and Fraser clans, I want you to know we will never stop being grateful. So thank you again for this terrific award. And to Fort Hays, I just want to say, go Tigers, ad multos annos. God bless.